I'm sorry, it's over, Bitcoin bros. CEO of Blackrock, Larry Fink, has come out on July the 5th, the year of our Lord 2023, to announce that Bitcoin, in his opinion, is digital gold. This is not good news for Bitcoin. This is, in fact, an indication that Bitcoin has become everything that it was trying to destroy. I have to say, never would you have seen Superman hold up a chunk of kryptonite and call it space gold. No, to Superman, kryptonite was kryptonite. It was not gold. And Bitcoin, we've been told for years, was Wall Street's kryptonite. It was a way of democratizing the financial system, of taking away the monopoly on the medium of exchange away from the central banks, which work hand in hand with Wall Street and the big financial conglomerates. You know, it's really a chicken or the egg thing of whether, is the financial system controlling the central bank, or the private bankers controlling the central bank, or is the central bank controlling, the private bankers? You can say either way. They're one and the same. They're indistinguishable. And Bitcoin is now being embraced fully. That is what Larry Fink's conversion to the Church of Bitcoin, that's what his baptism in the holy waters of the hodlers indicates to me as an outsider. I was never someone who jumped on the Bitcoin bandwagon. I was always suspicious of it. I thought it had potential. I wanted to see where it was going, and all these people, keep telling me for years, oh, well, you're missing out. You're going to miss the ride up. It's going to be huge. Bitcoin, $1 million, they've been telling me for years. And it's like, you know what, if it gets to that point, okay, that would seem to me to indicate that Bitcoin has some staying power. I'm not interested in it as a speculative asset. I would be interested in it as what is originally, I don't know if I would say, if it's accurate to say it was designed to be this, but what it was pushed as originally was as an alternative media of exchange, meaning money. And money should have a stable value. It should have a value that is consistent across time, and it should be something that you should then, because it has such a stable value, it works well as something that you can barter with, that you can trade away for other goods. Bitcoin should be, if it actually lives up to what it was originally sold as, it should be something whose value we should be able to compare or use. We should be able to use it as a unit of account. It should mean something. If we say that, hey, I'm going to go out and buy a house for, 5 Bitcoin or something, you should know what that is. But we don't. You always have to go and check, oh, what's the spot Bitcoin price right now? Because it's very volatile. And so Bitcoin is nowhere near its ultimate goal, if that ever was the goal, which I'm suspicious of. We never knew who Satoshi Nakamoto was. I was very much in agreement with the philosophy of it. I thought the fact that it has a finite amount that doesn't ever go up, the amount of Bitcoin, once it's all mined, it's capped. That's a good thing. That's what, ideally, in economic theory, that's what I think would make the best form of money. Money that doesn't increase in quantity ever. So the value of that money over time, as there are more and more goods and services available in the economy, as production increases, the value of money keeps going up and up and up. Meaning if you save your money, in the long run, you have more that you can buy. You reward savings. Versus today, when people are incentivized to spend all their money as soon as they get it. Because guess what? If you try and save up for anything, the price of whatever it is you want to buy is going to go up faster than you can save the money to buy it. So you're actually in better shape going out and getting a payday loan, if you have to to go and buy a new car. Because the next thing you know, you're going to be paying $150,000 for a Dodge, which apparently some people are doing right now. Would have been a lot smarter to, buy a car a couple years ago, back when you could get, the highest trim level for like 50 grand. But under a system where we have something like what Bitcoin was meant to be, what Bitcoin was originally marketed as, that would not be the case. The price of things would constantly be going down because there'd be a finite amount of money. And so if you held on to your money and you waited for there to be more stuff, guess what? That stuff was going to be cheaper because your money's getting scarcer and scarcer all the time. It's getting more and more valuable. But we know that Larry Fink does not want that. We know that Blackrock does not want that. Blackrock is the enemy of stable prices. Blackrock is the enemy of personal savings. They want to destroy your savings so that they can prop up asset prices, so that on a relative basis they get richer, or at least they stay the same, and you always get poorer. That has been the policy of our financial elites going back for multiple centuries at this point. Going back to the founding of the Bank of England in, like the 18th century? The banksters have always wanted to expand credit. They've wanted to expand their own wealth and devalue the savings of ordinary people. They've wanted to expand credit, increase the supply of money, of course, increase it themselves so that they get all of the new money. They want to create the money themselves. They want to lever up assets so that they can then lend out more money and collect more interest. Larry Fink isn't stupid. He knows this. He knows what his game is. He knows what's in his best interests. So why is it now that he thinks a spot Bitcoin ETF is going to be so great? Is it because just Bitcoin's so popular and he's saying, you know what, I'm going to give in. If Bitcoin's going to be here, I'm going to try, and I want to be the one making money off of it, and I want to have this spot Bitcoin ETF, and I collect the 0.1% management fee on the ETF. That could be the case. Or it could be that Bitcoin is not actually a threat to the establishment, and that Bitcoin perhaps was a psyop from the very beginning. Now, I'm not going to go and say that. I don't know that that's the case, but it's a possibility. I think that if Bitcoin was as big of a threat as it's supposed to be, people like Larry Fink wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I think that people like Larry Fink would talk, in 2023, a lot more like Larry Fink talked in 2017, when he said that it was like an index of money laundering. He tried to scare people out of Bitcoin and say, oh, no, only criminals use Bitcoin. You fearmonger about stuff like that when you're afraid of it. Larry Fink is not talking now like someone who's afraid. He's talking like someone who feels perfectly in control. So, with that said, I will see you folks back here tomorrow.